What is going on, everybody? Friday morning, Trade to Black, presented by Dutchie. I'm your host, Shad Dales. How everybody doing? How's everyone doing after Wednesday's show? We okay? Everything calm? Yes, it looks like we ruffled quite a few feathers after Wednesday's show with Gretchen on. We're going to have Marc Cohodes on, and he's going to talk about some of the things that were brought up on Wednesday and give his take on everything, including some solutions and how he wants to get the cannabis industry and the hemp industry to work together, one plant, because this ultimately is the solution. And could we see cannabis added to, say, something like a farm bill? Yes, we want to talk about some of the frustrations about reform and not happening. We also need some answers and solutions. So Marc's going to provide that as well. 7 years ago today, federal legalization happened in Canada. I'll bring in AV and talk about that and maybe reminisce some of the things that happened way back when. And as well, latest updates out of Washington regarding rescheduling. So let's get into it. Welcome in AV here on a Friday morning. Good to see you. This should be, wow. Last 48 hours, we definitely garnered a lot of attention with our show, and this will be nothing but more here this morning with Marc.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm excited to dive into the topics with Marc. I mean, I think he has more cogent arguments, let's say, than Gretchen as it relates to hemp and cannabis. And I think he could also more probably eloquently display his takes. And I mean, yeah, it is the 7-year anniversary of cannabis legalization in cannabis. Oh, Gretchen's there. Hey, Gretchen. I was hoping you were going to pop up in the comments. That was on purpose. That was on purpose. It's been a rocky ride for Canada, but it's been great. Canada took the step, and Trudeau got it done. We had things such as CanTrust having fake walls in their grows. Funded capacity was a great learning experience, at least for myself, in business and in investing. I hate to say it, but the AI CapEx situation that we're going through right now reminds me a lot of funded capacity.
Really?
Where companies are just spending money. There's a lot of hype around things, just infrastructure, but the demand's not truly there. Yet. It's yet to be determined. But it's been great. I mean, Canada's finally hitting its stride. They're exporting a hell of a lot of cannabis, quality cannabis. Clearly, if Marc can hear this in the background, to the EU, which has brought price stabilization. They've got the provinces are rolling. It was a very rocky start. I mean, companies were on fire, literally, not in a good way, for the first couple of years, and now we're here. Hopefully we can get our shit together south of the border and start to in the US and start to move forward.
Yeah. Gary, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Anybody else feeling generous? We'd appreciate it here. If you could provide any super chats, it goes a long way for us to continue to do what we do every single day and provide a platform for everybody out there. So I'm not one to ask, but at the same time, too, I just want to say thanks, Gary, and anybody else. We'd appreciate it to provide any super chats here at our podcast. When I think of some of the things that are notorious, when I think back of the last 7 years, you got to think of the squeeze with Tilray that went, $350? That was another one.
Yeah.
What else comes to mind? Remember,
I did not trade that. I watched that thing go up to the frigging moon.
Yeah.
And just stayed out of it. SNDL. Zach George became a meme stock and raised a hell of a lot of money. One of my favorite people that I met in that entire thing was Bruce, obviously. Bruce Linton was a character, but I don't think any of us are here today without that crazy asshole creating Canopy and bringing what it was to the capital markets. Bruce was one of the pioneers in the space.
I love Bruce.
I mean, yeah, Bruce is best.
Honestly, he is a great person. And I know controversial, but at the end of the day, like you said, he got the business side and the capital market side of this industry on the map. Remember how many times he was making appearances on
you would have never had the US industry be built into what it is today
without Bruce Linton.
With Green Thumb, with True Leaf, with Verano, Glass House, these national brands and companies and the hundreds of millions to billions of dollars that were poured into the US industry. If Canada never goes legal and Canaccord and the banks in Canada never raise all that money and create that demand for the Canadian industry, it then got poured into the US as a secondary byproduct of that. I mean, obviously our cannabis industry was moving. Colorado, California markets were maturing, but I mean, there was a just wave of capital that came into the U.S.
I'm trying to think
as a byproduct of Canada.
Trying to think of the one company that used to raise a ton of money in the early days of the FRIA. It wasn't Canaccord. I'm trying to remember who that was.
There was Canaccord, there was 8 Capital, there was Raymond James were in the mix. There was a couple of shops.
Yeah,
it's been a wild ride. By the way, yesterday, I know for a lot of people watching that might not know the context of it, I tweeted out yesterday that cannabis was included in the Trump Trade Index.
Okay.
And this was mentioned on CNBC. Mike Santoli actually mentioned cannabis when he was talking about everything that was included.
Yeah.
That index is done by Ned Davis Research, and it's simply tracking sectors and stocks that have gone up and performed since Trump took office.
Yeah.
It's not bullish. It's not bearish. It's not a co-signing of, hey, Wall Street is paying attention to cannabis. I found it interesting that Mike Santoli actually called out cannabis when he was talking about critical metals, other industries that were domestic that were being brought up by the Trump administration, and cannabis obviously warranted being mentioned in that conversation.
Yeah.
And the chart for the Trump Trade Index was a hockey stick. It was up and to the right pretty aggressively.
There was a story this morning on Fox News. I didn't get a chance to see it about cannabis. So there's been a few. I know
there's stories in the Free Press. There's stories in Fox News. The media cycle on long form mass media as it relates to cannabis rescheduling. It's not slowing down, but everybody's numb to it. It doesn't mean anything anymore. The fact that Fox News is coming out and saying I was like MAGA and cannabis regulation, like unite or something like that. Like, cool. We heard that 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Get the government back online. Get cannabis rescheduled.
Agreed.
And then you'll get you get the gold star. Trump can take the win, and we move forward. But until then, just the media covering it is just jaded at this point.
Well, it's something I'm going to come out tomorrow with, and I hope everybody gets some value with this. It's about really understanding what a claim on social media versus an actual story with legitimacy behind the background. It's really understanding the protocols and proper steps to like determine what's real and what's not, because I do know that we have a lot of opinions. We have somebody that pushes something out in a tweet. You see stocks start to move, and then basically they crash right after that. And it's a step-by-step process to understand what goes on in a major network or major publication newsroom as to like really source out whether this is real, whether it's not. And then there's like a 4 or 5 step approach that I'll release that tomorrow. And I really would love people to watch that and get some feedback. So leave your comments on that video, because it'll really walk you through on next time you see somebody post something. It'll be a good measuring stick as to, like I said, what's real and what's not. You were going to say something?
I think Gretchen is correct. They're all kind of just snowballing off of that Free Press story, which I think that Free Press story leaked early on Wednesday, which is what caused the spike in MSOS, caused the halt in MSOS. And then the story came out a couple of hours later. I think people knew that story was coming out. They were trying to front run it. And that kind of makes a lot of sense as to why that happened.
Yeah.
With that story, the algorithms are just starved for information right now.
Scott Brand, tube channels, lots of fake and BS news on post. I think I have somewhat of an idea as to what you mean, but yeah, you don't know where to look at what's real and what's not. That's the world we live in, especially with a lot of AI stuff. Okay, we're going to bring in Marc Cohodes and talk about Robinhood, GLASF, rescheduling, and all those things. But just a quick word right now from Morgan & Morgan.
Hey everyone, there's a reason investors get excited when a stock splits and suddenly feels twice as valuable. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Think about it. When you're investing, you want the right team in your corner. The same is true if you're injured in dealing with an insurance company. And that is where Morgan & Morgan comes into the equation. Why? Well, they got more than 1,000 attorneys and over 100 offices nationwide. They've been fighting for the people for over 35 years. And their track record record, get this, it's hard to ignore. Here's what I mean by that. One example, in Florida, a client was offered just $350,000, but walked away with $12 million. That would help the portfolio. In Pennsylvania, another client turned $650,000 into a $26 million offer. That's a 40x return. So in total, Morgan & Morgan has recovered more than $25 billion for over 500,000 clients. So when you hire them, it's like bringing in a legal army that has your back. Because if you're injured due to someone else's negligence, you deserve to be paid. And let's be honest, not all law firms are created equally. So with Morgan & Morgan, get this, their fee, it's free unless they win. You can start your claim right now by clicking the link in the description or by scanning this QR code on your screen with your phone. At the end of the day, if you want what you deserve, make sure you go in with the right team by contacting Morgan & Morgan today. All right, now let's get back to the rest of our live stream. Do it now. What do you think? That's a lot, buddy.
Do it live.
Let's do it live. All right.
By the way, did you see Joe Flacco last night? Old man can ball.
I put a $100 bet on the Cincinnati Bengals to win that game, and they won. Yeah.
I needed Jamar Chase to come back to life on my fantasy team real bad.
I thought it was hilarious seeing Rodgers and Flacco give each other a high five after the game. It was like two old bears right there. They were both kind of.
Joe Flacco is still elite.
He looked good. He looked very, very good. Aaron Rodgers, this definitely is his last year. He looks 41, 42 years old. But it was a great game. Pick all the underdogs because there's no real cut winner in the NFL this year.
Super Bowl.
You're crazy. Anyway, let's get to it. Welcome in everybody's favorite guest, Marc Cohodes, former hedge fund manager. Hedge fund manager, am I correct? Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Had a lot of fun.
A big-time cannabis investor. Good to see you. What we're hopefully asking you for today is you can just be a little bit more honest than what you have in the past. So if that's possible, let's get into it. How have you been? How have you been the last 2 weeks since we've had you on last?
Just living the dream. I think Flacco collected his money from Morgan & Morgan last week. So he had played last night like he had some turpentine in his ass. So thanks to Morgan & Morgan, Flacco did the job. No,
there's a great testimonial.
Yeah. I'm fired up. I've been fired up. I'm excited. I think we live in fascinating times, and unlike a lot of people out there, when I say something and I'm working on something, I get it done. And I'm just starting.
Just getting started. All right.
How did you get it done?
Yes. How did you get this done? Hold on. Before we go any further, let's just tee it up. You were very instrumental in putting this whole Robinhood, Glasshouse brands things together. I think people should understand that. You've talked about it. So now to Anthony's point, how'd you get it done?
Well, without giving out all the ingredients of the secret sauce, I'm pals with Porter Collins and Vincent Daniel, who appeared at the Robinhood conference in Las Vegas about a month ago. I'm also pals with Fahmi Kadir, and she was out there as well. So I went out to the Robinhood conference to hear my friends speak. And Porter was talking at a panel, and he said his favorite stock that he now owns is Glasshouse Brands.
Really?
But he said, yeah, really. And he said, but it's not traded on Robinhood. And there's about 1,000 people in the audience, and I blurted out, not yet. And then loud. And then Porter talked about Glasshouse again. And he says, but it's not traded on Robinhood. And I said, not yet.
Again.
But the Robinhood, not, back then. But the Robinhood guys know me, and the Robinhood guys have respect for me, and I have respect for them. So without naming names, I had numerous conversations with very high up people at Robinhood and explained to them that a guy like Porter, and Vinny, who they've written books about and made movies of, when they like a company like Glasshouse Brands and talk about it at your conference, for you guys not to trade it is something short of a crime. And these guys trade Kalshi, which is prediction market stuff, and they're leading edge, and they have no problems with the ability to mix it up. And I said, can you imagine a world of content with someone like myself and Porter and maybe Glasshouse, and now Steve Eisman owns Glasshouse, appearing at a Robinhood conference with Glasshouse, or talking about Glasshouse, or talking about the group, and they're, very interested, and through a lot of effort and work, it happened.
Yeah.
And it happened, things in life. I know people want YOLO and things to move instantly, but things in this space sure take work, and
Yeah,
it
they
sure
do.
takes effort, and it sure takes persistent. And I am a hardworking motherfucker who just does not let go of the rope. And with some of these guys, I'll take the rope and wrap it around their fucking neck. So,
There's our YouTube short for today, right there. Go up.
So I'm not giving up. I thought the Robinhood thing would happen. There was some resistance against it, but there's something about being first. I think there will be other cannabis companies that will eventually trade on Robinhood if these managements can get their act together and behave credibly, rather than pay themselves $10 million to do nothing except bitch about the MSOS. Things can happen, but people need to grow up and realize we're in 2025 and things like that.
Yeah. So then obviously this isn't a function of custody, because when we talk about custody, there's just some things that can't be done. But there are platforms such as Robinhood that we've talked about for years that don't list cannabis stocks, and them not listing them. Is it a function of just not putting enough effort forth in the last couple of years and not opening the right doors, versus the argument of, well, they're cannabis stocks that are selling an illegal substance and they can't be listed on these platforms because apparently they can with the right amount of effort put forth?
Excellent question. And when I first got involved in GLASF, I asked the question why these things don't trade, and the same thing with why they're not uplisted, which is also one of my projects. And I never got a real good answer. So when someone says why, I ask, why not? Why not? Give me a really good reason why this can't happen. And there is no good reason other than lack of effort, lack of organization. I call the cannabis industry the band of misfit toys, which it really and truly is. And people and operators and stakeholders, don't really have the effort or organization to make something happen. And I always say, companies deserve the shareholders they get. And the shareholders of Glass House are serious ass people. I mean, they're real guys and gals. And when you have a serious shareholder base, serious things and good things happen.
Yeah.
When you have a bunch of clowns who sit there and bitch and moan and piss and make excuses, less good things happen. So this is simply a function of effort and energy and will and desire, with guys who are very aggressive, which is the Robinhood crowd. And you have to admire what they've put together. I mean, you can say whatever you want about them. I mean, their stock's gone from 6 to 130, and they know what they're doing. And I have great respect for them. I don't have to agree with everything they do, how they do it. But I'll tell you this, the Oakland Raiders, when they play the Chiefs this weekend, they have respect for the Chiefs. They may hate them. They may want to kick their ass. They got to have respect for the Chiefs. And I have great respect for Robinhood. And Robinhood clearly has respect for Glass House. And they clearly think Glass House is for real. Unlike some of the jokers who talked shit a few months ago.
Well, respect them or not, they've got 23 million users right now on their trading platform. We all know this platform is more based on investing for momentum building versus the long-term strategies. When we look at TD Ameritrade, the Fidelities of the world, I think those trading apps are more for longer-term investment views. But look, we've had conversations before. We actually had a client of ours from London was actually golfing with the head honchos over at Bloomberg in the summer. And they've vocalized and said, I don't care how successful or how big cannabis gets. It's just something that we don't really want to touch.
Well,
and I think
it's like Jamie Dimon and crypto. He didn't want to touch it.
Right. Exactly.
He didn't want to touch it 10 times ago. Now he'll do crypto funds. I mean, everyone will change. There was a time where people wouldn't touch nuclear power, right? After 3 Mile Island, and I was in the investment game in those days for GPU, General Public Utilities in Pennsylvania. People wouldn't touch nuclear after 3 Mile Island. Now look at Oklo, right? Oklo now trades at $25 billion. They don't have jack shit. It trades at 5 times the entire market cap of the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of that. So things change, and things change rapidly, and it's best to be ahead of the game rather than behind the game.
23 million users, social platforms. It's like you said, they're into crypto, they're into cannabis now. Hopefully, I think you get reform. Do you kind of envision what this could turn into? Yes, more companies will come into play, but I think this could be a massive opportunity for a lot of traders within Robinhood, given the amount of database that they have. Plus, you combine that with what they like to invest in on reform news. It seems like it's a perfect situation if everything comes together.
I mean, look at sports and gambling. Every place you look, there's gambling commercials. LeBron's doing commercials for DraftKings in season. And I am pitching, will pitch, in the process of pitching, doing something with YouTube clowns. I mean, instead of being sponsored by Ham and Egger and Dewey Cheatham and Howard, all you guys do, I mean, you could be on the Robinhood platform at least talking about this space, because I think this space is very dynamic. I think there's going to be winners and I think there's going to be losers. And I give you guys credit for fighting it out for as long as you have. I really do.
Yeah, well, it has not been easy. That's for sure. Last time we had you on, you had said that you feel confident that rescheduling, I don't like to put timelines on. I just want to see progress that's being made. You said last time you think we could get an announcement by Thanksgiving. I don't want to sit here and say, do you think we'll have an announcement by Thanksgiving? But
yes, I do. I think the deal is done. Okay, I think the deal is done. I think that in this world, I did not have the Charlie Kirk situation on my bingo card. I didn't have the government shutdown. I didn't have what's going on in the Mideast. It's a very, very, very volatile time. And everything that's out there, nothing in the past currently works. History doesn't matter. History now does not repeat itself. And Trump, who I view as a king figure and is the king, is theatrical and he's transactional. And everyone wants to get down on what Gretchen said, and I don't agree with everything she said, but she said some things that are very, very important.
Okay, let's hear them.
And that is, currently we have the cannabis industry and we have the hemp industry. And I was in DC and I was summoned back to DC, but the government shut down, so that fell through. But the hemp industry is not going away. They are very well organized. They are very well financed. They are very smart. They are very gritty. They are not people who've been born on third base and thought they hit a triple. They fight for what they have. And I give them a whole lot of credit for taking advantage and living and prospering in the 2018 Farm Bill. I mean, these guys at Cornbread, in Kentucky, are raising money at a very big valuation, and they have a great model, and they are hardworking, gritty guys. So
they're very good. They're a very good company, but I would call them a best-in-class asset in the hemp industry. They're absolutely
that's right. So they are, to me, glass house-esque capable guys. I mean, they are high-quality guys, very well run, very well thought of.
And you notice what they do. They don't sell THCA flower. They don't sell synthetics. They don't sell 7-OH bullshit.
Well,
they sell organic, hemp-derived, high-quality gummies.
That's right. Well, you're teeing me up into the next thing I'm going to say. So whoever is out there listening to this in hemp and in cannabis, I've always stated that I think Jason Wild is outstanding and would be a great commissioner for hemp. So I talked to Jason yesterday. Jason and I want to put together a group of top quality hemp companies, top cannabis guys, and we're all going to get in a room. And we're not leaving the room till there's an agreement of a coalition of the hemp and cannabis crowd, which combined is about $80 billion legally. And everyone is going to get together. Everyone may not like each other. That's totally fine. I've been on teams where people don't like each other and all we do is win. I was on the city championship Northern Trust softball team in the industrial league. Not everyone got along, but we won the city championship.
Okay.
So everyone doesn't have to get along. Everyone doesn't have to agree. But this infighting between cannabis and hemp just has to stop, because it's going nowhere. No one's going away, and fighting amongst ourselves is a loser's game. And what it does is it plays into illicit, and that mentally incapacitated.
I was going to say,
so Mark, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that there needs to be a meeting or a coalition of cannabis and hemp companies. However, looking in the past and looking in the present, on the state level, there are active instances right now that are in motion where the hemp industry is allocating capital to stifle the cannabis industry, and the cannabis industry is actively allocating capital to stifle the hemp industry.
I get it. And in this meeting, this bullshit will stop when we all leave the room. I mean, spending money in Texas to knock down hemp, and hemp spending money in Florida to knock down cannabis is a loser's game. Everyone who spends the money has lost. But here's what I suggest, and I'll give everyone a preview of the meeting so everyone can wrap their brain around it this weekend. One, synthetics in terms of hemp and cannabis are done. It is illegal. Synthetics will go by the boards. There will be strict age gating, just like there is in booze and just like there is in casinos. No one under 21 is allowed to buy, purchase, or traffic in the stuff. Those are two hard stops. There will be labeling. There will be testing. There will be product put on the blockchain, so it's all tracked, which will knock out illicit. There will also be safe banking for all. And that way, federally, everyone's on the same page. And my kicker is, for King Trump, is there's a 3.5% to 5% excise tax on all products. And it goes to the feds. The feds can then kick that back to the agricultural industry, who's having problems with soybeans. You can build bridges. You can do whatever you want. But then the United States will be able to export to the EU. We'll be able to export to Asia. We'll be able to export to South America because it's a U.S.-based industry. It's a U.S.-based crop.
So here's a question. All these ideas, do you know whether or not President Trump is aware of them?
Of course he is. And so is Treasury. Of course they are. Do you think I am sitting around eating cold pizza waiting for the fucking phone to ring? Of course they're aware. And people are aware. But what has to happen is everyone has to get together for the greater good of it all, rather than all this bullshit that's going on. Because as Derek Maltz would say, and he's been a guest of yours, and I talk to him often, he's a DEA guy. The DEA doesn't give a rat's fuck on cannabis. Given the problems that are out there, cannabis is not an issue. And by the way, when you're in Hawaii or California where it's state legal, then the state is the regulator, not the feds. No one knows how to crack down on it because it's the gang of misfit toys. And again, if you don't like it in Nebraska, Missouri, Idaho, wherever you don't like it, make it statewide illegal. But the states are ahead of the feds. And
Mark, when you're saying that the DEA doesn't give a shit about cannabis, are you talking about from an enforcement perspective or from a legitimizing it perspective? Because the circus that we saw with the ALJ, I would argue that the DEA, and with Ann Milgram's apprehension to even sign the ruling under the Biden administration, I would beg to differ that the DEA, the institution that is the DEA, doesn't want to see cannabis legitimized. I believe you when you say that they don't give a shit about enforcement. No one from law enforcement wants to deal with cannabis.
There's no U.S. attorney who wants to bring a cannabis case. So the DEA only has enforcement if you can bring a case. I
don't think they care about enforcement. I don't think they care about enforcement at all. But I think that they would love to see it stay Schedule 1 from an institutional standpoint.
well, there are certain people in the South who still want the KKK around. It's just not the real world anymore. And the momentum, I think, with Trump, and again, I give him a whole lot of credit, but he can say that he will be the only president in the last 50 years to make this happen. Everyone else has tried and failed, but he can say, I made this happen. And where Gretchen is right is the avenue from the reschedule, which Bondi could do in 5 minutes, into law and to make it legal, isn't through passing a bunch of bills and paying lobbyists and those retards at SAM putting out their fake information. No, it's adding it to the 2018 Farm Bill. Okay. It's simply adding it in, giving cannabis the exact same rights as hemp. And again, if you don't like it, statewide make it illegal, which is fine. I mean, gambling is federally legal.
Yeah.
Legal, but it's illegal in the state of California. So what happens? Predictive markets are on, New York Stock Exchange is Polymarket now. Robinhood is Kalshi, but you can do predictive markets in California. So it's people trick fucking a state law to play with it federally. And Polymarket's worth $2 billion and the feds raided them in the fall. So if you have gambling federally legal, if people are willing to get in bed in nuclear power, which, by the way, can't even be turned on for the next 6 years, even if everything goes right, cannabis is not going away. Hemp is not going away. Instead of cannabis fighting hemp with tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, everyone get together. If your business model doesn't work, right? And I'm talking to the MSOs, right? Your business model doesn't work and you will have to pivot. But pivot. Don't play this closet prohibition game to grow indoor cannabis in a warehouse at $1,000 a pound with power prices going up when you can grow it in California, Oregon, or Washington, or somewhere else. We're in a free market economy.
Let me ask you this. This sounds good, and I like the progress that could be made here, but this will take time. So does this happen before we get a rescheduling announcement, or is this the
rescheduling announcement can come at any time? It's like handing the ball off to Bo Jackson, right? He may get 3 yards. He may get 2 yards. He may get 5 yards. He may be tackled for a loss. But the guy could run for 97 yards at any point in the game, right? At any play, the guy could run. No one can predict Trump. Trump can't predict Trump, right? I got a lot of respect for everyone out there who play names. To trade these names is a fool's errand, right? You're either in the trade, in my view, or you should be out. You should know what you own. You should know why you own it. But to trade this based on reschedule or deschedule, or when you talk to government people and you ask them timing, everyone hates that because it makes it look like you're trying to take advantage of them to profit in a trade. You're either in the trade and believe it, or you're out of the trade.
Yes.
But this trading around, these guys on Twitter, that complete clown Dank Informer railing against hemp every single fucking day. Look, Holmes, we A, know who you are, and B, to solve the problem, simply age gate it and make synthetics illegal. Then you have nothing to say. Okay, right. Then you have nothing to say.
Yes.
Okay, I'm working on getting non-alcoholic booze laced with THC out there. There's so many ways to win. But everyone has just got to stop fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah,
it is. It's a huge waste of time. It's a huge waste of money. And again, if your business model doesn't work, fucking fix it.
Let me ask you this.
Don't think legislation saves you, because it won't.
Okay, once you get the first statements out in this boardroom that you're speaking with head cannabis representatives along with hemp people, what do you think the solution is here? Yeah, I guess both industries have grown,
But yes, they're going in different directions
The
right now.
solution here is to create a free market around around naturally derived Delta 9 THC. That's it.
100%.
That's the solution.
No one gives a fuck about Delta 8 and THCA and all this bullshit. You know,
no, but you bring the walls down. You create a congruent regulatory framework around naturally derived hemp, Delta 9, THC, and you let the free market decide. That's the only way to let this happen.
Exactly.
It's literally like the scene. It's like the scene in The Dark Knight where the Joker snaps the pool stick and says, "You guys figure this out for yourselves." The government's going to basically just have to bring the walls down, say, this is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Figure your shit out. If you go out of business, it's not my problem because somebody else is going to either capture your business, create better economics, or be able to survive. And that's not my problem. The government's problem is regulating Delta 9 THC. Let everything else
and Trump is Trump is a deregulation states' right guy. I mean, this will freeze people's brains. California cannabis in the black market in London goes for $8,500 a pound. Yeah. That's a fact. In California, right, Glass House sells it for $200 a pound.
Yep.
So just imagine a world when Glass House sells every pound they make to Europe, right, at a whole lot higher than $200 a pound. It won't be $8,500, but there's a lot of money to be made somewhere in between $200 and $8,500 a pound, right? And then everyone will say California's cannabis / hemp business will be bigger than their wine business, which it will be. And illicit goes by the boards. And when illicit goes by the boards, just like mob and sports betting went by the boards, when illicit goes by the boards in cannabis, the strong will prosper and make people's move into critical minerals or Oklo or nuclear power or AI. It'll make it look like Sunday school compared to what's coming. That's what I think's coming. Can I make it happen? Hell fucking yeah, I can make it happen. But I need buy-in by cannabis guys, and I need buy-in by the hemp guys. I know the hemp guys will sit at the table. The cannabis guys should sit at the table too. And everyone can swear at each other for the first hour. And I'll say, get it out of your system. But this is what we need to do to move this forward.
Yeah.
Because no one's going away. Okay. The Israelis and the Arabs are not going away. So the trick is how to coexist for the greater good of the industry. The money is there to invest. The money is there to grow the business. Illicit goes by the boards. Everyone wins. And again, if you don't like it in Idaho, Nebraska, Kansas, just don't make it legal. Yeah. Just like gambling in California. It's fine by me. But it takes Jason Wild and someone like myself to sit down and say, here we go. Here we go. Okay, enough with this bullshit. And I can get the hemp guys in the room, right? I can get certain cannabis guys in the room. And if you don't like what I say about you, right, because I speak the truth, either respect what I say, change, or say we can disagree. But I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping for anything because I think we're very close. Very close.
The Cole Mebo, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. He asked the question, do you agree the hemp debate isn't about testing synthetics or age gates, but about open licensing? Seems like everyone agrees on sensible regulations, but disagrees on opening license versus limited licensing. Your thoughts?
No, what you do is age gating is a huge thing and was a huge thing in Texas about the kids. They fixed that and said 21 or over, right? Yeah. Synthetics are a problem. Synthetics are a problem because they're untested. People don't know the potency of it. It's marketed, packaged, or whatever for kids or to minors, and it's a problem. And the one way you get rid of the problem is you eliminate it. Because as Anthony said, there is good, viable, natural product out there that people want to be a part of, right? And let's just go with that. There's plenty of industry. There's plenty of natural gummies, natural vapes, natural flower, natural joints to play with. You don't need synthetics. You just don't need it. And if people think they need it down the line, right, then can we address it 3 years from now? But given where we sit, let's at least keep going. And again, where Gretchen was right is Schedule 3 X280E doesn't do much, right?
Yeah.
No.
Is it a step?
But it does.
Yeah.
But it does something.
Is it a step? Yes, it's a step. Okay, it's like the Seattle Mariners hitting a single or a double. But Weldon Angelos, who I have respect for, who wants to get people who are nonviolent criminals out of their cages, Schedule 3 does nothing for him. Does nothing, right? Still illegal. And then someone would say, if hemp is legal, why is cannabis illegal? Why are people in jail for the same plant? So my simple thing is, put everyone on the same footing. The hemp industry will get what they want. Cannabis guys will get what they want. Federal government gets 3 to 5% tax, able to export it. The trade guys like it, and will take Arctic Mexico out at its knees because they won't have a monopoly to go into the EU anymore. And the dirty little secret with Arctic Mexico is the CCP has been buying grow operations in Arctic Mexico for some time. So that's the illicit part of it, which gets stopped.
Yeah,
which gets stopped as well.
But what Cole said about licensing, I think, is a very slippery slope, because I don't think that the limited license structures that you're seeing in states should last. I think the wall should be brought down, and there should be a more fair way to enter the cannabis industry on a national scale. But at the same time, like, people need to realize, like, liquor licenses are capped. Like, liquor licenses are technically limited licenses. There's just an abundance of them, and they trade more freely. The structure in Florida is crazy when you look at it, that you have to be super vertically integrated. You need $100 million to come in here. And there were only 22 licenses from the original cohort. And then you look at Massachusetts, that's a heavily insulated, crony capitalist market. Licensing needs to be somewhere between the limited licensing that we're seeing and what Oklahoma did. Because when you do it like what Oklahoma did, $2,750 gets you a license. You've got people brokering them for $65,000 and selling them to people. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the state of Oklahoma has a license. That kind of defeats the purpose of the licensing altogether. But it also doesn't need to go to an extreme as to what we have now, which is super insulating the first movers from any sort of competition that are coming into the markets. And that's what TrueLeaf and GTI and a lot of the other companies are lobbying against. They don't want more participants coming into their markets where they're already seeing price compression and market share go down on a quarter-by-quarter basis.
They talk out of all sides of their mouth, and really they're closet prohibitionists. But the liquor distributors want this in a big way. Yeah. The liquor retailers want it in a big way.
Yep.
And when this plan, this put together, passes and the whole thing comes along, the liquor industry is going to be a huge investor in cannabis hemp.
Oh yeah,
huge investor, right? They're fighting it for now because they're getting their ass handed to them in market share and demographics and taste changes. But they're going to be huge players here. So they're going to come into the market and they're going to disrupt things. But on a natural basis, when you come with a natural THC drink, gummy, vape, whatever, extract, whatever it is, that's going to be the way this has to go. And the people who are in the distribution business, their business will go through the roof. It will go through the roof. And when people say the government, well, the tax base of the government, the money the government will take from this will be huge, because the cartels in this space are going to go away, because they're not going to be able to track their product. They're not going to be able to get safe banking. And the shift toward legal is going to be very big and large.
Well, I think, some of the stuff that I give Gretchen for credit for coming on here on Wednesday and outlining some of the things that she does. The challenge I have sometimes is just that she points out a lot of the challenges and problems that are taking place right now. And this is the problem, I think, with some of the people within the industry. It's like, what is the action plan
moving forward? Because I know a lot of people were pretty upset after the live stream on Wednesday and, worried about the future of the industry, but we need an action plan. What is that plan moving forward to come up with answers and solutions to ultimately get what we want? But you do believe the first step here is by getting the hemp and the cannabis industries together and getting them on the same page is probably the most important one, correct?
Hell fucking yeah. I mean, I'll be there. Jason will be there. If you want the Glass House people, they'll be there. I mean, we'll get everyone there who wants to have a say. No one's leaving the room. Like, when they elect a pope, leaving the room. I will lock the doors and have Porter with a padlock on the outside. No one's leaving the room till we get an agreement.
Yeah.
The AFL used to hate the NFL. The AFL used to hate the NFL. The WHA used to hate, the
NHL.
The NHL. Everyone used to hate each other, but somehow they got together for the greater good of everything that works. And after being in DC, I have greater respect for the hemp guys because, one, they're not going away. Two, if people are pissed off that they got a break in the 2018 Farm Bill, that was no accident, right? It's very detailed how that was written, and they're not going away. And the solution, again, is simple, right? If you don't like it in Nebraska, keep it illegal. So what?
Right.
No problem. Same thing with, it's like gambling. So I think we're there. I think Trump gets it. I think most progressive people get it. And I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. And my thing is, don't trade these stocks, gang. If you like what you like, own them. If you don't like it, own less. If you hate them, short them. Doesn't matter. But it's going to happen today. There's a meeting tomorrow, special resolution, blah, blah, blah. It's going to come when no one expects it. Yep. It's going to come. And the other thing is the MSO has gone from 2 to 5. If this was some fluky thing, it would have gone 2 to 4 back to 2 3/8. So it's made a move. It's holding its move. I don't own the MSO. The guys who run it deserve a lot of credit and a lot of respect. And I'm here and I'm out there. And if you don't like me, I don't care, because I'm gonna be part of the fix here. And this Robinhood is just a sample to me of what's coming.
Gretchen writes, I've been saying forever that these jokers need to get on the same page. I get that. The challenge is that, we understand this. We all know this too, but it's getting it done. Can you get these people in the same room, and can you get them on the same page? I get that, Gretchen.
I'm putting it out there. I'm saying I can get the hemp guys in the room. Okay. I can get 8 of the top hemp guys in the room. So I can get Jason in the room.
Yeah.
I can get Graham or Kyle in the room. Okay. So Boris, born on third base, and Kim, if you want to come in the room, let's all get in the room. Yeah. Let's all get in the room and hammer this out. And then as a group with $80 billion in revenue, right? Then let's see what we got.
Yeah.
But the steady state, gang, hasn't worked. Okay. You guys had that clown Brady Cobb on from Sunburn Cannabis, whose company kicked him out, saying
let's not go there. Brady's a good guy. Brady's a good guy.
He's a clown. Okay. Saying we should be happy with Schedule 3. No, I'm not happy with Schedule 3. No one should be happy with Schedule 3. Let's, in this opportunity, you go for it. I'm not in to finish third in the race. I'm in it to win the race. We play to win the game. That's what we're trying to do. Okay. And the sooner it happens, the better it is for all concerned. Right. And that's just the way it has to be.
Yeah.
It's the way it has to be.
I get what you're saying, but I think what Brady's obviously saying in this situation is baby steps. Let's get rescheduling.
Who gives a shit with baby steps? I mean, of course, the first move, he has to go to Schedule 3, reschedule. Right. By law, that's the first move. But Correct. Then when he says, let's put cannabis or the joint thing in the Farm Bill because everyone's together, then it will happen. Okay? Not everyone believes in There's all sorts of crypto. There's all sorts of
So
stable.
what do you disagree with them though? He's saying the first step is rescheduling, which I totally 100% agree with. Like that, we're not going to get anywhere
But then
besides
he
that.
says, then we'll work on the other thing later. No, we're not going to work on the other thing later. Let's get it done now while we have a guy in office who's transaction and theatrically oriented to make things happen and make this a Republican issue.
So if you're saying hold on, if you're saying rescheduling first, you do believe that descheduling needs to happen before Trump leaves office? Obviously, you're saying that, and can it be?
Let me speak very slowly and clearly. He cannot simply go and say we're descheduling tomorrow. I think by law that's impossible. You have to hit the reschedule and then go to deschedule. The fastest way to deschedule.
That's what Brady's always said.
Well, Brady wants to stop at rescheduling. My thing is it's all one package. It's all we're rescheduling and we're putting it in the 2018 Farm Bill, which is what Gretchen said. And we're putting it in the Farm Bill because we're going to tax it at 4%. Well, we're going to tax it at 4%. We're going to give these guys the exact same rights as what hemp gets. It's a one-shot deal. Hold
on, Mark. Gretchen said that cannabis from a rescheduling perspective was going to get left out in the cold, and hemp was where Trump was going to gravitate towards on policy. That's what Gretchen's main point was. That had everybody kind of up in arms.
She got lit up for it.
The point that woke me up with Gretchen when she said that the easiest way to do cannabis is the 2018 Farm Bill. That's the easiest way to legalize cannabis. My first step, while he reschedules at any point in time, is to get the cannabis and hemp guys together to form a coalition.
That is how we get. I think that's the only way we get progress. If I'm being completely honest, I think that's the best idea.
Well, then everyone's invited to the meeting except for Brady. I got a hard on for Brady. I don't like him. I don't like his mouth. I don't like any part of him. So I think we get everyone in the room except for Brady, and then we'll go from there. I'm also not a fan of that grown road guy too. He should run his company rather than run his mouth.
Yep. All right. One last thing I wanted to bring up too is that Anthony and I were going back on this the other day, and it was the fact that cannabis and the topic is very popular, but not important, like abortion, gun rights, that sort of thing, which I 100% agree with. But if this gets rescheduled, and here's my question to you, him and Gretchen thought zero chance that this gains you any votes in the process of all this. Do you agree with that? Like, this seems to be a popular topic. Over 70% of Americans want cannabis reform. So on paper, yes, to their point.
I think on that point, I think Gretchen's dead wrong. I think Trump will destroy the Democrat. I think Trump will destroy the Democratic Party as we know it. He takes a Democratic Party issue, takes it for himself, turns them completely on their head. They're completely discombobulated right now. He'll take this and he'll say, I've done something that no one's been able to do for 50 years, which is true. I mean, he will be able to destroy the Democratic Party. I mean, the first election I voted in I voted for Reagan. And I have a really good memory. And the only thing I can remember from Reagan is Mr. Gorbachev tear down that wall. Forever in a day, everyone will remember Trump as the president who finally legalized cannabis and put cannabis on the same footing as hemp. I mean, if hemp is federally legal, which it is, right? There's no reason.
That worries me though, because I don't think President Trump wants to be remembered for that.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really remember what he wants to be remembered for. That's up to people, and that's up to the history books. So people's kids will remember that the Cannabis Hemp Act of 2026 was when everything happened. I mean, there was a time that I can remember when Alex Karras and Paul Hornung were suspended by the NFL for a year for associating with a gambler.
Correct.
Crazy.
Okay. You have LeBron, who's one of the top 5 all time, doing DraftKings commercials in season. on sports.
Think about that.
Everywhere you turn, there are now gambling commercials. Imagine if we get a period where you have branded cannabis or branded hemp or branded drinks with real guys like Bacardi involved.
Yeah, I know.
Or Anheuser involved.
Yes.
Or Diageo involved. And it becomes a worldwide thing. People will say, I can remember when people, were selling California cannabis in London for $8,500 a pound.
Yeah.
Right? $560 an ounce. Okay. Why is that? Why is that in 2025? Why are people not safe banked? Why are dispensaries getting robbed? Because they're one of the few businesses left with cash.
Yep.
And I can't wait to shake Anthony's hand when he takes the Greyhound bus to Montana to meet me when all this happens.
Have you seen the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Yes.
Get to sing the Flintstones in the Greyhound bus all the way to Montana.
And they don't have Greyhound in Arctic Mexico either. So
where's that? Arctic Mexico? Where is that?
That's where you live. You're going to have to hitchhike over that America Bridge, the Ambassador Bridge. You're going to have to hitchhike over the Ambassador Bridge and then get on the 90.
I'm coming, buddy. I'm going to have to call Mr. Derek Maltz and say, you got to hook me up, buddy. I
think that'll work. But
we'll just put you in one of those CCP tunnels, Shad. Don't worry.
Tell me what people used to do as a teenager in some of these department stores, Anthony, where you'd hide the people in the suitcases.
But everyone out there who's listening, I can get the hemp guys. I can get Jason. I can probably get the Glass House. So the big three, Boris, the ball's in your court. Love to shake your hand, and then we'll hammer it all out. And then
I think Boris and the Curaleaf guys would be amenable to.
I do too.
Yeah, I think we get them and drag a few others in, and then Porter again padlocks the room. And then when everyone pools assets and pools resources instead of fighting each other, we'll put those Sam mutants out of business and get this done. And Kevin Sabat will go fight Tylenol and whatever birth defect Tylenol gives you. Amnesia. He's another clown. Kevin Sabat and Brady deserve each other.
Brady's a good dude, Mark. Brady's a good dude.
Screw Brady. He wants to
troll me. Segment on the Family Guy really grinds my gears with Peter Griffin. Maybe
he wants to troll me on Twitter. He gets that in return. So I mean,
all right,
the hell with him.
All right. So long story short, what we're seeing is you want to get cannabis, hemp in the same room, which you're going to fight towards. But regardless, outside of that, you still feel there is going to be an announcement for rescheduling relatively soon. Yes.
Okay. I think we would have had it if not for the tragic events that have happened. There's the story one doesn't die. This is no accident. As you know, Shad, the media works in mysterious ways. There is real sourcing here. There is real people behind it. And it is going to happen.
There's so many moving parts right now. And I was bringing it up the other day, just the stuff that's going on in the Caribbean with these boats being blown up and him actually coming out and saying 25,000 people's lives are saved due to the narcotics that would flood into the country. I know you shake your head in disagreement, Anthony, but I think it's just all part of a plot.
We can't just fucking drone strike boats in the middle of the ocean.
I'm not going to sit here and say it's not controversial. It's 100% it is.
It's illegal.
It's his story that he's building. This is what I think.
Not that it's controversial. It's fucking illegal.
But when you say it's illegal, right? That assumes someone is going to enforce the so-called illegality. It's also illegal to jaywalk in the city of Chicago.
That's why he's doing it, because no one's going to enforce it. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying drone striking boats on just preconceived notions that they're carrying drugs in international waters is that's crazy. Like,
fine. That's one brand of crazy. Another brand of crazy is watching what the nuclear power stocks are doing, or the rare earth stocks are doing, or the AI stocks are doing, or the various things are doing. And these things trade at real market caps, right? I mean, these market caps are not a joke. Then you have a combined $80 billion industry that has real revenue, real profits, real cash flow, combined, right? All in, trading at $5 billion.
Trust me, I went and did diligence on Tuesday of this week, and we talked about this earlier in the week. I went and actually diligenced some of the critical metal stocks that I was buying that were just going up because I was buying them because there were momentum in them. And I looked at the companies, and I honestly was sitting at my desk laughing because from a fundamental standpoint, they make cannabis companies look like Amazon at the end of the day. These companies were operating. I agree with you completely.
This is my point
on that point.
So why should the hemp and cannabis guys fight, right?
They shouldn't.
And Dank Informer has no leg to stand on when there's age gating and bans of synthetics. Then what's he going to say, right? I agree with everyone. It should be Delta 9, period, natural, free markets, the whole thing. And let the government tax it and use whatever, they'll have billions and billions. They'll put the cartels out. They'll stop the money laundering. You'll safe bank people. And
Mark, have you heard anything about President Trump himself on how he's viewing all this stuff? Are you allowed to say? If you don't want to go there, don't go there.
The only thing I think I'll say is this thing is hugely politically popular. Huge. Polls through the roof, which matters. You have midterms coming up. Then they look at the issue. I think they're lukewarm on the issue. I think the issue they could take or leave. And then they look at fallout, and I don't think the fallout exists.
Here's another question. Some people would say, hey, if you're going to make an announcement around this, you want it to be closer to the midterms, which would be like next, possibly June. Does that make any sense whatsoever? If not, why?
I understand all the arguments, but I think it comes down to one thing. It's a one-person decision.
Correct.
We operate in a kingdom. We operate, there's the man in charge. He's the decider, period. Any other discussion doesn't matter. Okay. He's the decider on when he wants to do it. He can do it again. This is the Bo Jackson.
That scares me, that scares me too because he could easily decide not to do it.
Of course. Again, you hand the ball off to Bo Jackson. He can score at any spot on the field, or you can stuff him. This is okay. But the difference is, okay, my ex-wife's husband, Dennis, has Parkinson's. He has a bad. He takes Glass House gummies. He takes Glass House tincture. He smokes Glass House joints. And he is 95% better with all his symptoms. Okay. Hands fucking down. And if the shit was illegal, he would do it and he'd pay any price for it. Okay.
But that's the major problem because no one's acknowledging that at the federal level.
Well, look, they all get it. They all get the joke. The booze guys don't want it because booze is going down the drain. The private prisons don't want it because they make money for putting innocent people in a cage, right? Yeah. There's money, the world is not all good. Okay. This is not kittens and rainbow. The world's a dirty, nasty place. There's a lot of people who don't want this for bad reasons and bad motive. What it does is it makes a huge difference in my shoulder, which has 9 screws and 2 plates. It makes a huge difference for anyone who has Parkinson's. It makes a huge difference for people who have anxiety. And anyone who wants to fight it is just not intellectually honest. That's one.
That's the most powerful thing you said.
That's flat out. Trump is theatrical and he's transactional and he's crazy like a fox. And he knows what's right or wrong. And I get all these guys in the room. And I say, knock it the fuck off. Don't spend the money fighting each other. Let's spend the money pushing the greater good of the industry, of the plant. Synthetics don't work. They should never work. Kids shouldn't be touching this stuff, just like they shouldn't be touching booze. Everyone should have this tag traced, the whole thing. And there we go. and the government gets its share and do whatever the hell you want with it. And
Agreed.
then that's it. Then that's it.
Okay. So there's been, well, I'm even going to speculate, but if you think this is something that could happen, let's hopefully before Thanksgiving. I can't help but think of a better time to tailor this around Veterans Day. And
Bing,
Here we go.
why not?
Here we go.
Why not? I mean,
here we go. Here we go.
So no one should get too down. No one should get too up. The Robinhood thing happened. So that's a check. You know, that's a big check. I'm going to work on getting you guys on Robinhood, so you're sponsored by them and not the potato chip company who sponsors you now.
Whoa. They are a great company.
I'm not. I don't know who Dutch Brothers is. Or
no. Let's keep going. Let's not go there, my friend. They are a great company. I love them.
Fantastic. I like you guys too. But you know, don't get too down, everybody. Don't get too up. And I need the cannabis, you know, prohibitionist cartel to hold hands with me. We'll all get together and we'll meet the hemp guys and we'll all come out with some form of agreement. But fighting each other's senseless.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy dragging Dank Informer's dick through the dirt, and I enjoy toying with him.
We get that.
So,
can we get that clip too?
To be real though, he does do good work when it comes to uncovering the nonsense and the bullshit on the dark side of the hemp industry. Like the stuff that he does around fraudulent COAs, pesticides, synthetics.
No doubt about it. But he's part of an overall group, and he's right, and his work is excellent. His delivery is horseshit. But I simply say, I can take all your work, Dank, and simply make it under 21 doesn't work, synthetics don't work, and then I totally agree with you about Delta 9, and that's how it should go. When you say you want to short Glass House into the dirt, into zero, all it does is it motivates me more. All it does is motivate me even more, and I don't need any more motivation, right? I have it all on my wall. I look at it daily. Whenever I'm feeling tired, I read all the stuff, and it keeps me going more. So, fine by me. Him and Brady.
This segment with Marc Cohodes has been brought to you by Polygraph Testing. We want to know the truth. Think no further than Marc Cohodes.
Damn straight.
All right, my friend. Listen, always good checking in with you, and hopefully some people from this whole week. What was that one comment earlier, Anthony, about jumping into a hot tub and a cold plunge from going from Gretchen to Mark here today? But we've had a lot.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, we've had a lot of back and forth and a lot of opinionated guests on the last couple of days, but that's okay. You like that, David? Shad the diplomat.
I can get the hemp guys in the room. You guys work on the prohibitionists, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
We'll see what we can put together.
Well, like he said, we all know, and I think Gretchen brings some great, feedback as far as like what the challenge is, but the next step is the action plan. You got to make it happen. And I think that's been the challenge for the industry right now. So best of luck. And hopefully, to your point, we get an announcement next month or at any point with regards to rescheduling. And for those who don't know, Bo Jackson played at Auburn University in 1985, where he won the Heisman Trophy, and was later actually drafted by the Tampa Bay Bucks, but made his football career with the Raiders. He's got that notorious 1980s poster where he's got the baseball bat over the shoulder pads, but he was an all-star in baseball, and he was probably the best running back in football before that hip injury that he sustained in 1988. But I am
best all-around athlete I've ever seen, and I've seen them all.
Ever seen. I remember when he played.
LeBron James is probably the best athlete all around.
I would have liked to have seen LeBron play football because, he was a tight end. And I'm sure he would have been a hell of a tight end, but Bo Jackson was.
I was just trying to get you guys triggered. I mean, Bo
Deion
Jackson.
Sanders even said,
Deion. Yeah.
No. You asked Deion. Deion says there's no Deion without Bo Jackson.
Deion was hitting home runs in a playoff game and scoring touchdowns in the same day.
Bo Jackson could run, hit, run people over, lift. Insane. Best guy I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I saw him live.
For
saw
sure.
him live in football. Saw him live in baseball. Met him once. He's the real thing.
Yes, Gretchen. That was the LeBron comment was to get the two old heads going.
Ugh, most annoying athlete. He ruined
And the other thing is
the NBA.
Don't give Gretchen, don't give her shit. I mean, she's entitled to her opinion, and
Oh yeah,
is spot on. And people can differ.
Oh, these people commenting saying, "Oh, the Dales Rip TDR has lost their credibility," and I'm just like, Jesus, do I need to walk you through how media works? If no one's got an opinion, then guess what? Nobody's going to watch. That was must-see podcast TV on Wednesday, as was today. Everybody's got their own opinion. So at times, you can't just follow the narrative. I know you want your pocketbook and your stocks to go up, but you also got to face the facts and truth at times too. So we're always going to bring on opinionated people, but more importantly, people that have a source of information that we don't have access to. That's what makes the platform credible. And whether you like it or don't like it, you're entitled to your opinion as well. But as long as you keep coming up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to watch, we appreciate it. Mark, have a great weekend, and we'll keep in touch. Okay, my friend?
You guys too. Thanks for having me on. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
All right. Got some great terms there. Dragging your something through dirt. That was a good one. But all in all, he had some very valid points. So that's good. We're at an hour and 11 minutes.
Had the R word dropped around Sam, which was great.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
You know who also I was going to bring up before we brought Mark in, who's probably had a legendary name that we all forgot about? Remember Lauren Gertner? Like they sold Tokyo Smoke before they even got a license for like how much money?
He sold that bitch to Canopy real quick. And then Doja Cannabis as well. They sold to Canopy real quick. That was all incestuous. That was like Vic buying Nuvera.
Yeah. Ray Brock, love the show, but guys, stop the members only shows. Look at, you're still getting the same amount of content you did before. Okay. As we're not pulling anything back.
Speaking of, I'm sitting down with Frank Colombo.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Nope. I'll hold.
We're still delivering the same amount of content we did before. We're just adding more to it. And that's behind the membership wall. So look I don't know what you do for a living, but this is my job, what I do for a living. I need to get paid somehow. And believe me, I'm not making a ton of dough off this industry because capital is so tight right now. So if you guys see value in this channel, then we'd appreciate it. That's why we ask from time to time for a super chat, or we're trying to build a membership wall going, because ultimately at the end of the day, you get great insight, you get investment dollars, but where do you get that money from? You get that from your everyday job that you have. And this is my everyday job. I want to invest too, but if I can't obviously make money doing this, then guess what? I'm going to probably close shop and head back to a mainstream media job, which I don't want to do. So I hope that understands and hope that makes sense, but I don't want to be greedy and ask for a lot. I'm just trying to make a living. That's all. Anthony, fire away.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting down with Frank Colombo at 1 to actually talk about Verano and Curaleaf's facilities that they've raised in the last 2 weeks, and then what the implications are on the remainder of their debt.
Yeah, good stuff. And that's at 1 o'clock.
That's at 1 o'clock.
All right. Yes, Sam Vargas, Barry Sanders, without a doubt, the best running back ever. I could tell you some great stories too. When I was in college, I don't want to say where I DJ, but I DJ'd some interesting places, and Barry would always show up every Sunday. He's an interesting fellow, that's for sure. But yes, unbelievable running back. That's it for today. We'll see you all back here Monday at 4 o'clock. Don't forget, make sure to check us out. I got a great interview coming out tomorrow. TDR Plus in an hour with Anthony and Frank Colombo. And then, as I said, tomorrow, I got a great video coming out on TDR Cannabis that walks you through how to source out a story as to whether it's real or not, a social media post, a claim, or actually substance behind it. As well, we got the top 5 European countdown coming out tonight, as well as the weekly recap on Sunday, and then back here on Monday. And don't forget to scan that QR code, become a daily baked in newsletter. A big thank you to everybody that provided super chats here today. I appreciate it. I hope you understand some of the things I explained from a business aspect for the channel moving forward. Again, it's not unnoticed. It's appreciated. And AV and I definitely do appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of your day. AV, enjoy your weekend as well. We'll see you all back here Monday. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey everyone, thanks again for watching here today. Listen, if you're getting value from us here at TDR, make sure to check us out at TDR Plus. It's our exclusive membership community. Why? Well, you'll see CEO interviews that go beyond business, showing a personal side that you won't find anywhere else, including the biggest names of the industry. Plus, you'll get insights from analysts and day traders on where the industry's headed, both short-term and long-term, and a direct chat group with our team. It's only $7 a month, just 25 cents a day, and it helps support everything we do here at TDR. If you want to join, just click the join button below and become a TDR Plus member today. And once again, a big thank you for being part of our community. So that's it for today. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.